Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Warcom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. And today's news was massive because it involves 1.2 million students annually. And with us to talk about that is going to be David Lukacs. You can see him on the screen, CEO of Liquid Avatar Technologies, trades in Canada under the stock symbol LQID, and for our friends in the US under LQAVF. I got a short intro for you, but it's going to be powerful. What you first have to understand about Liquid Avatar is the genesis of the company. It's a global blockchain and personal identity solutions company. We know all about digital ID now, so I won't go into more details, but we know how critical it's going to be in e-commerce and in the metaverse and all the digital economies that are now being created really quickly. Liquid Avatar has already become a leader in digital ID, as evidenced by so many milestones. We can't go through all of them, but including probably the biggest high profile one, its partnership with the Ontario Convenience Store Association to provide digital age verification solutions to over 8,000 stores. So not stopping there, Liquid Avatar has used its leadership position in digital ID to build an incredible metaverse application called Aftermath Islands, whose sales have already far exceeded $1 million already. And they got great partnerships, including creating college campuses and teaming up with colleges and things like that. The metaverse, as we know, we've heard all sorts of numbers. The latest ones are Citi and a whole bunch of banks, $10 trillion by 2030. And what do we talk about today? Here's a headline: D.A.R.E America and Liquid Avatar Technologies create digital ID and metaverse programs for K-12 students. It's going to provide digital ID verification, credentials, avatars, NFTs, and immersive mixed reality opportunities to more than 3 million students worldwide. David, I just had you on here 2 days ago. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, George. Great to be here as always.
Man, this is a major win. I mean, you've had great wins over the last 18 months, incrementally growing the business beautifully, especially with Aftermath Islands. But here you talk about 1.2 million students just in the US annually, 10,000 communities, another 29 countries. Who is D.A.R.E, first of all? Because a lot of Canadians don't know who D.A.R.E America is. Who is D.A.R.E and why is it so important to them?
Well, George, it's interesting. A lot of Canadians do know D.A.R.E, but we forget it after we're small children. So D.A.R.E is a nonprofit organization that has been around for almost 40 years. And I've had a relationship with them for just over 20. And D.A.R.E is really originally stood for, and the letters stand for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. But at the end of the day, D.A.R.E and officers in the community, law enforcement officers in the community, visit classrooms and teach children about healthy living, whether it's the pitfalls of drugs and alcohol and or opioids, and over-the-counter medication or mental health issues. It really creates a bond between the law enforcement in the community and children in the classroom. And it goes from K to 12 and has different programs for different age groups. And really, at the end of the day, over the last almost 40 years, there's probably over 115 million Americans have gone through the program. And I believe personally, in my analysis, that almost 200 million Americans can identify the D.A.R.E brand. The challenge is that most people interact with it when they're young and then don't hear about it again until their kids go through the program. And in fact, I was on the phone with somebody, on Zoom with somebody the other day, whose children haven't gone through the D.A.R.E program, but they went through it as a young person, and they're now have their own, teens. So it really is amazing, and it really involves not only schools and educators and communities, but also involves law enforcement. So this is a really massive opportunity for ourselves and D.A.R.E to create new and engaging programs. And remember, because we're dealing with young people, where are they going? They're going online. So we're going where they're going.
And is that why D.A.R.E is now making this shift? Is this why I guess they're looking for a digital solution? Because social media on its own probably wasn't enough. Tell everyone to meet on Facebook or meet on Twitter. It just doesn't really work. We now know that it just doesn't work, right? Especially social media platforms are hampered. So is this the next level engagement solution for D.A.R.E? You tell me, what is it that they love about Liquid Avatar and Oasis and Aftermath Islands that they want to partner with you?
Well, there's a number of reasons they've done this. One is they do have D.A.R.E remote, so there is an opportunity during the pandemic. They've had to develop new ways to reach students because not every student was in a classroom. But this allows them to enhance that. Two, it allows them to reach students, families, and parents, and organizations and communities where they all exist, and where they are going, which is online. It allows them to be a first mover into the metaverse as one of the largest nonprofit organizations in their sector in the U.S. and around the world. It allows digital ID, which is a big issue for them. They want to make sure young people are safe online, and it allows us to
Right.
proliferate our digital identity platform. We do have to add more features, which we have been planning along and I've been talking about, which is data guardianship, which is the ability for a parent to manage the identity of a child. But at the end of the day, this really is an amazing program for also brands to get involved with D.A.R.E, because we're developing something called the D.A.R.E digital backpack, in which students will receive a digital backpack for free, and they will be able to load into that backpack NFTs and other digital items that brands are
That's
going to offer
great.
for free. That's the kicker. So think about it. Brands are trying to figure a way to use digital items. So we've got the digital identity, we've got the digital backpack, we have a way to create new and engaging sponsorship and promotional programs for NFTs that take all that mystery for brands out of the equation. What are we going to do with them? How are we going to distribute them? Who's going to get them? Because we have a ready-made audience. And then we have the metaverse. So for us, it is a trifecta, and it allows us to create funding for D.A.R.E, awareness for D.A.R.E, programs for the D.A.R.E community, and as a revenue generating organization, allows us to support ourselves as well.
And let's talk about that side for a second, because I
Mhm.
know shareholders are going to say, David, great, amazing
Right.
initiative. It's going to help so many students go
Right.
next level. They love it. They love the third party validation, but they're also going to be talking about, how does the revenue work here?
Right.
How does the business model work for shareholders?
So when anyone thinks about, oh, it's a nonprofit organization, um, they don't really connect what's called cause marketing. And I've been doing cause marketing programming for well over 35 years. When we think of in Toronto, the Hospital for Sick Children and its lottery, or Princess Margaret and its lottery, or its events, those are usually put on between brands and the hospital to create awareness and create funding. So it's cause marketing. This is a cause marketing program. This is a program that is designed to raise funding awareness for D.A.R.E and their brand partners, but it is a commercial arrangement. We will receive certain fees and benefits for the services that we provide in support of the brands in D.A.R.E. And in return, we'll also provide um, a uh, a platform in which people can use our services. So imagine you're a young person, you've gone through D.A.R.E, you've got your digital backpack. Mom and dad have given you digital ID. Mom and dad have to have digital ID to be able to give you digital ID. So now we've got
Also, this
multiple.
grows into the families as well as the students.
Exactly. Exactly. And then because you're part of the D.A.R.E community, you get those great things in your backpack, but mom and dad get discounts and values from the brands that are giving
That's
you
great.
those items. So it creates this circle effect. The brand paid a fee in which D.A.R.E received a portion of the fee. In fact, the lion's share of that fee, and we receive our fees as well.
So
And
this
then
could really grow, right, David, exponentially. Like, I could have George Com brand, whatever the case is, and say, hey, I want to be part of the D.A.R.E environment here. So I want to create an island or an experience for all the kids and their families to enjoy. Meanwhile, I'm marketing my company and branding my company. So it really is limitless opportunity here.
Agreed. I'll give you a couple examples. A brand could create a promotional item that goes into the digital backpack, and that item could be in a student's house on Dare Island, right? It's going to be a statue on Dare Island, and you can imagine any one of the pop culture figures that could do that, or that item could be used as an entrance ticket, an access
Love it.
NFT to ride the brand's roller coaster in the metaverse. There are so many different opportunities that this permeates. And D.A.R.E, because of my 20-year plus relationship with D.A.R.E, there was instant karma with everyone on this. It wasn't a re-education process for me. It wasn't a re-education process for them. And I will say this with great respect. D.A.R.E gave me an award just after 9/11 for the work I had done with them. So I've kept that relationship in place for this many years, and these are good friends of mine in the U.S. And they're connected to so many brands, and they're connected to so many communities. And it's always challenging for a young startup like Liquid Avatar to create a catalyst or a number of catalysts that will help us leverage our programmings without spending gobs of money on marketing. And the
As these kind
OCS
of partnerships,
exactly
instant audience, instant brand partners,
instant
ecosystem.
recognition, right? So the key for our stakeholders is it's not that we've been quiet because we wanted to be. We're quiet because we're working on what we believe are game changing potential opportunities. I mean, you got to get to the finish line, but you've got to work on these. And when we call or talk to a brand, and we've done some recon on this, brands go amazing. And if someone's gone through the D.A.R.E program, and I've said this in my quote, they remember it fondly. They remember it. These are becoming they were amazing childhood memories that elicit a positive response immediately. As a decision maker, emotionally you're tied to it, and now as a corporation, can you see the benefits of being part of a community in which law enforcement and the
Absolutely.
community are working together?
Absolutely.
It's a win-win for everyone.
And it's an easy sell inside of a so it's like George Calm Corporation.
Right.
One of my associates comes to me, one of my employees comes to me and says, George, we're looking to connect with students in the metaverse. We've seen different ideas. Hey, first, we've got this fantastic ecosystem being established. And at the same time, George Com Technologies is supporting something really great. So we're really checking off a lot of boxes. Makes an easy decision for us to say, yeah, let's get involved in this.
Absolutely. And George, I'm gonna give you a couple tidbits here on this. Number one, the D.A.R.E T-shirt, which is prolific and now sold at vintage stores around the U.S.
I did not know that.
I know that, but it's unbelievable. Is considered number 10 on the 50 coolest T-shirts of all time in the U.S. Okay, so that tells you about the brand. The second thing is D.A.R.E, and I can't say whom, but I'm talking about a tier one major gaming brand came to D.A.R.E and said, "We want to put your T-shirt inside our game." Unfortunately, the game had a lot of potential violence in the game, and they couldn't do it. But they offered them 6 figures just to put the T-shirt in that game, and D.A.R.E turned it down for the programs that they're working with us on. So D.A.R.E sees the value proposition. Now, D.A.R.E Islands will be inside of Aftermath Islands, and there will be other islands where people can do other things. And D.A.R.E's quite aware of some of the things that they can do. But in the islands will be gated. You will need a credential to get into the island. It's like our digital identity, as I mentioned in our last interview, dovetails perfectly.
I was going to say that's the dovetail, right?
That is it.
Control the Digi ID, so I can't get into the D.A.R.E Islands and do nefarious things, because I know there are a lot of young students there, whatever the case is. I mean, it's just perfect how you guys have built this ecosystem, man.
Well, and it wasn't by happenstance. Oh, I'm sorry. Still early in the morning, or happen chance if you want to think about it. But at the end of the day, we thought this process through. Now, avatars. Why NFTs? Because they become intermediaries between metaverse activities, digital virtual activities, and your digital identity. So this has been contrived from day one. It's just, you've got to see all the pieces come together. And it's hard as the CEO and sort of the chief visionary officer, it's hard knowing that I believe what I see down the road is going to happen and convince others. But I will tell you, as we tell our story to the investment community, they are understanding more and more about the connection points between digital identity, avatars and NFTs, and the metaverse. And they see the trifecta that we're seeing.
Because 12 months ago, it was hard to see that. People like, I'm not sure what Digi ID is. I'm not sure what metaverse is. And now it just seems like you guys are creating a nice seamless image for everybody.
Well, and I appreciate that. And so let's talk about age verification, because it'll make sense. And I'll tell you two things. One, age verification makes sense in the real world. So with the OCSA and buying restricted products, but age verification makes sense in the virtual world too. So we're not only creating programs for the virtual world and or the real world, we're doing it simultaneously. And then we're adding things like jurisdiction. And someone might say, who's watching and listening, they might say, well, I don't want to give everyone my information. You don't need to. There are three types of identity. The first one is no identity, because it is a type of identity. Everybody just gets in because we let them in. And we presume that they're all real. We don't know anything about them. But because we can count them as a user, there's identity associated with them. Then there is what we call anonymous verification, which is a really strong Web3 decentralized concept, which means, George, we verify that you're a real person by biometrics and by jurisdiction, and we link that to a device. That credential tells us that one user, one account in our system. So we don't need your particulars. And then when it comes to, you have to get into something specific that requires full identity, we can do that as well. So think about walking into
like a medical record or something.
Exactly. But think about walking into a virtual casino. A virtual casino will need to know that they only can service people in particular jurisdictions, or there is exclusions of jurisdictions, and they need to know you're over a certain age. They really don't need to know more about you than that to let you in the door. So we're making this easy, being Web 3.0 compliant, being W3C compliant, using open standards for our identity program, going through our trials and tribulations to get here, now connecting it fully to an avatar, connecting it to the metaverse. And now we are starting to see the validation of major organizations agreeing with our premise. And now we're talking to the investment community and the light bulbs are going off. So we are here to really focus on getting our business up and running. And really, as stakeholders, we want to reward all our stakeholders. So for anyone that has thought we've been sitting by, doing the things and focusing on this fun thing called the metaverse, we're focused on it because it is the item that is the tell on everything else we are doing.
And on that note, and I know you can't give us any inside information, but I want to at least try and touch on it. Should we take this? Should shareholders take this as, all right, a lucky one-off, or should they take it as, you guys are building a pipeline of potential things like this? Some may close, some may not, but is there a pipeline of similar large-scale opportunities from large organizations and things? We're obviously Lethbridge College team up with you to create a virtual campus on Aftermath Islands. Now we're seeing D.A.R.E America. Is there a pipeline of this size and credit? Because you're not doing a deal here with George, right? Say, hey, we teamed up with George, and this is real. These are big organizations: Lethbridge, D.A.R.E America, Ontario Convenience Store Association. Is the pipeline full of those kind of potential opportunities?
Well, George, I want to say yes, but qualify it that till they close, they don't close. But
yeah, for sure.
Even with D.A.R.E, we've identified thousands of brands that we can talk to. Right, thousands of brands,
and D.A.R.E will open the door to those brands, right?
Well, D.A.R.E will support us in those efforts to move forward with those brands, of course. But at the same time, we are seeing other wins that are coming to the table. We are by no means standing still, and we wanted to get a couple catalysts in play, and it's everything takes longer than you anticipate. We wanted to get the new platform up and running, and the new or the updated platform that we put out this week. Really, at the end of the day, we went through some major reviews by large organizations to make sure that we were meeting obligations. So now we shift from, okay, we've done it, into how do we monetize it? How do we get revenue? And I want to comment on something that you said a bit earlier. I know that you said we've done almost 1 million in sales, or approximately 1 million sales in the metaverse. It's actually closer to $2 million now. Now, I will say that because our metaverse isn't up and running, we've had to defer that revenue, but it shows up as a liability today for accounting purposes. We've been able to use that cash. But at the end of the day, as soon as that metaverse goes live, and I know we've given you a bit of a sneak peek on some of the things we've done.
Looks
And
great.
we'll be doing in the next few weeks, we'll be letting everybody in on the sneak peeks. But our metaverse is a game changer. I can say this out loud. Most of the graphics that you see in the metaverse and in online gaming promise, and I'm not saying they don't do an amazing job, because they do, but they promise high fidelity graphics in their cinematics, and then when they deliver, it's it's lower grade graphics because of streaming and downloading, even on mobile games.
I've seen the sneak peek.
Yeah,
It ain't low grade, that's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Our technology is high-end graphics using new technology that allows us to stream just like Disney, just like Netflix, just like Prime. We're using streaming technology that you do not have to download to play high fidelity graphics. And that alone is starting to attract brands who are going, I don't want to be my brand to be in a cartoon world. I want to be in a high fidelity graphic world. How do we get there? We have that answer today.
And if it was anybody else or near anybody else, it'd say, yeah, talking the talk, but show me when you're. But here you are. It seems like you're putting out a great milestone. Ontario Convenience Store, Aftermath Islands, Lethbridge College, D.A.R.E America, and on other things. Those are the ones I just kind of pull off and we all kind of talk about. But so when you're saying that the graphics would be high fidelity, we know the Liquid Avatar delivers now. And that's the big differentiation. Guys, for everyone watching, listening at home, look, I'm involved in the Web3 world. I follow the Web3 world very carefully. And most of the time, 90% of the time, a lot of talk and no walk. Liquid Avatar, you guys are kicking ass, David. Congratulations on
Thank you.
on
Thank
a massive potential deal. Look, I'm a numbers guy. When I see these kind of numbers and brands might be there, I think that's great. But the validation has got to be great as well. Actually, I'll end it with that, David. Does this make your closing in your pipeline even easier when you can now go back to ABC Technology, ABC brand, say, hey, by the way, we just announced a deal with D.A.R.E America.
I think
It just builds that validation credibility, right?
I think it builds credibility for everyone. It helps D.A.R.E, helps us, helps their students and communities and their families. So I think it is a very holistic win for everyone. And for brands, it gives them instant association with something that they recognize. And as I said, I believe approximately 200 million people in the United States and probably many more around the world recognize the D.A.R.E brand.
Well, that's big, David. Thanks. I think I speak on behalf of all shareholders to say thank you, congratulations on
Thank you.
continuing to deliver. Markets aside, because Netflix is down 75%, Facebook's down 50%. Look, we know that the markets are in a bit of a funk. What separates the winners and losers right now, always when we go through these kind of phases, who's real, who's not. George Bucks is going to fail because it was never real, just a lot of hype on a guy named George put out some token. Liquid Avatar, Aftermath Islands, and the whole ecosystem, you're delivering, and that's all I want to see, and hopefully that's what everyone at home wants to see. But congratulations, my friend. We wish you can't wait to have you. I want to have you back on twice a week, every week with this kind of stuff.
It won't be twice a week, every week, but I like to come back frequently. Thank you.
Well, yeah, it's great having you on, David. Congratulations to you and the whole team, my friend.
Thank you very much.
To everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To David Lukacs, he's CEO of Liquid Avatar Technologies, trades in Canada under LQID, and for our friends in the US under LQAVF. If you believe in the future of digital identity, the metaverse, and the entire ecosystem that's going to be built around that, that we call Web3, and you're not familiar with it, you don't know how to do it yourself, but you're looking for a company that kind of represents all that in one, then you've got to do your due diligence on Liquid Avatar. Get the company's profile page on Agoracom, because we know there are a lot of cutting edge moving parts here that you may not understand. We've tried to lay it out for you there as nicely and easily to get that foundational knowledge, and then go over the Liquid Avatar website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.